Alright, hi. New York Central Operating Instruction Diesel Electric Road Locomotives Electric Motor Diesel GP7 locomotive classes DRSP4G and DRS4F. Road numbers 5676, 5685. Incorporated support and equipment P&L and ERR. McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania, 8 December 1st, 1951. Alright, operating instruction local electrical locomotive class DRSP4G, DRS4F, 1500 horsepower locomotive road numbers 5676, 5685, incorporated. Changing operating cabs when engine running when occupancy of the locomotive includes two units with operating control. Following procedure should be followed with the changing of the one operating end with the opposite end. Caution: the complete changeover must be made as quickly as possible because if the fuel pumps are shut off, the diesel engine will suck the fuel lines dry and possibly resulting in the damage of the fuel injector. Lead cab: remove the reverse handle, make the full surface brake pipe reduction, then lap automatic brake valve. Move the automatic brake valve handle. Move the double heading cock into the trailing position. Move the independent brake valve handle the release position, move the handle, place the headlight control with the switch of the light and with the control its position. Stop the train control generator, switch into the left and underneath the train control generator. 6. Open all switches, engine man control stations off the switch off position except for the transition forestall switching, which remains in the up auto position. Toggle switch in the engine man control stand remains road position. Alright, your new leading cab. Close control of the fuel pump switches on position. All other switches are necessary. Transition forestalling switch shall remain in the up auto position. Toggle switch on the engine command control stand remains in roads position. And invert the reverse handles of the brake valve handles. Start the train control generator, switch it to the left underneath the train control generator, place the double heading of the cock in lead position, reset the train control by pulling the reset valve handle back and pausing, then placing the handle forward. The reset the valve is located with the rear corner of the locomotive in the front steps. Place independent brake valve in the full application position, move the automatic brake valve into the running position, place the headlight switch to the right and in controlling position before moving the locomotive to release the independent brake valve and independent brake. Shut down in freezing weather. When it is decided to shut down the engines during layover to freezing weather, they must be either drained or heated by steam from outside source. The steam is available to taking the following steps from protecting against freezing. Engine cooling system protection. Open the steam and emission valve of the engine cooling water located on the floor right front inside of the engine room near the lube oil filters. Open the G valve. Connect the outside source of the steam to the train line of the locomotive. On the locomotive is not equipped with the train line. Connect the outside source of the steam to the pipe under the running of the board from the truck to the right side. Steam generator protection. Locomotive equipped with the steam generators must have the following valves that open with the addition of those under the cooling system above. The following valves are numbered are located with the steam generator compartment. The steam emission valve 11, number 11 on the train line. Steam emission valve number 10 on the radiation. Layover connection shutoff valve number 6. Water suction drain off valve number 20 and water supply stop valve 21. Alright, the PC switch. The pneumatic control switch is an air-operated electrical switch. The switch is tripped with an automatic brake application or by mainly emergency brake application. When the switch is tripped, it automatically reduces the speed of the engine to idle in all throttle positions except 5 and 6 of the position. In these two positions, the engine will stop immediately with the pneumatic control switch. Also shuts off all the fuel pumps and thoroughly. Although the engines may have gone to idle, they will be stopped within a few minutes from lack of fuel. The pneumatic control switch indicates the light will show the switch is tripped. To reset the pneumatic control switch after the automatic brake application, return the throttle to the idle and proceed as follows. Lap the automatic brake valve, reset the train control by pulling the reset valve handle back, pausing and then placing a handle in the forward. Reset valve is located on the right rear corner of the locomotive in the front step. To reset the pneumatic control switch after manual emergency brake application, return the throttle to the idle and move the automatic brake valve out of the emergency position. Section 5, Operating Instruction. The ELSCO type, the M2 steam generator is designed for the maximum operating steam pressure of 325 pounds and a radiated steam output of 3,000 pounds per hour plus 20% with a control safety device incorporated in such a full automatic operation after starting and are set to maintain an operating steam pressure ranging from 260 to 290 pounds with the fuel metering control is actuated with the boiler pressure. High steam output, the boiler pressure will be closer to 290 pounds. At the light loads, the pressure will approach 260 pounds. Two safety valves are provided with one being set with 325 pounds and the other at 335 pounds. Thus, with the automatic controls working properly with the safety valves should not come into play when starting with the steam generator while the opening the steam line with the train heating system The instruction given below should be followed with the operating of the procedure simply and such that the operator does not necessarily require understanding of the working principle of the steam generator, yet as true with any of the mechanical devices, general knowledge of the working principle is desirable. Alright, your first page shows the ELSCO generator type M2's troubleshooting general. The main switch is closed. The pressure gauge lamp, the water lamp, gauge lamp, electrical eye indication light. The trouble is if one of those lights does not light, if none of these lamps light, with the main switch closed, check with if the lights don't light up, check for the burned out lamp, check for the blow main line at 150 amps, the fuse is tripped for the line circuit breaker with the fuse to check the blow fuses in motor control cabinet. B. Alarm bell should be the alarm bell should not ring. If the alarm bell rings, push the stop button and the check control switch, and should it be starting in position. 2. After the pushing of the start button with the control switch in the starting position, motor comes to up to a speed and driving circulation pump, the fuel oil pump, and the blower fan wheel. If the motor does not start, check the reset of the motor overload relay and the motor control cabinet reset. If necessary, to pushing the reset button down, check the main. After pushing the start button with the control switch, the starting position continued. Line and fuse, and if the circuit breaker, check the main line fuse. If the circuit breaker is used, reset it and found tripped, check the blown fuse in the motor control cabinet. B. If the start indicating lamp lights, if the start indicating lamp does not light and motor is running, check the burned out lamp. C. Alarm bell should not ring. If the alarm bell rings, check the control switch and should be in the starting position. 3. Steam generator motor. A pressure gauge white hand circulating pump pressure should be 30 to 40 pounds greater than the red hand. The 30 to 40 pound differences these pressure is called the differential pressure is shown in steam. If there's no differential pressure, the pressure is low or unsteady. Check the proper amount of the water and steam separated, which is with the water level showing the showing in the glass. Add water if necessary. Check the circulating pump. Discharge the line strainer if may require cleaning. Alright, 3. Steam generator motor running continuing. Generator has proper water circulation. B. The fuel oil pressure gauge red hand pump pressure should be between 240 to 260. If the fuel oil pump pressure is low or no pressure, check the oil pump selection line. Inspect the flow in the sight glass. Turn the handle of the fuel oil pump suction line strainer to the clean strainer. Then check to see if the fuel oil pump shaft is rotating. Check the belt tension. Fuel oil relief valve may be stuck open. If the fuel oil pressure pump is too high, fuel oil relief valve may be stuck closed, or pressure gauge may be defective. All right, C. The steam generator motor running continued. Main oil solenoid valve opens and after differential pressure is established. If main solenoid does not open, it makes definite click when it was open. Alright, 4. Control switch is placed in the running position to make the steam generator. If the burner on lamp does not light, the steam generator fires. Check the burned out lamp. If the burn on lamp lights. If the burn on lamp does not light and alarm bell rings, check the proper amount of water steam separated, which is the water level shown in the glass. Not enough water can cause the loss of differential pressure. Steam generator will not fire with the differential pressure is less than 20 pounds. Also check it items under action 3A. B. Small burner solenoid valve opens. This will indicate the fuel oil pressure gauge red hand dropping about 25 pounds in ignition converter runs. If the steam generator does not fire within 5 seconds, the shutdown will occur and the alarm bell will ring. Restart the steam generator. Check the fuel oil pressure gauge with the fuel when control switch is placed in the running position. Note drop in the fuel oil pump at the pressure, which indicates the small. 4. Control switch is placed in the running position to make the steam generator fire continue for about 5 seconds, providing the spark after which will cut out as soon as the fire is established and an electrical eye indicating lamp goes out. The small burner oil solenoid, restart the steam generator, check the oil pressure pump, and the control switch is placed in the running position. Note the drop in the fuel oil pressure pump, which indicates the small burner oil solenoid valve opens. Check the small burner tip of the plunging and check through the burner peephole for the proper sparking and oil atomizing, and check for the air dampener rigging to see that it's in low position. All right. If there's no spark and proper spark, check the electrical wiring between the ignition transformer and the electrodes. Check the dirty defective electrodes, and gap between the electrodes should be 3/16 of an inch. Steam generator fires about 5 seconds after about an electric eye indicating lamp remains on, but the shutdown occurs with both. When the steam generator is down, clean electrical eye lens. Alright, 4. Control switch is placed in the running position to make the steam generator fire. Start the burner on, indicating light is going on, alarm bell rings. Steam generator operating which with the clothesline shut-off valve. The steam generator fire is automatically cut out when the steam pressure reaches 295 pounds. When the steam pressure drops to 285, it refires, starts the small burner going on and off in short intervals, calling cycling. If the steam generator shuts down when cycling, alarm bell rings with both the start and burner on, indicating lights out and motor running in reduced speed. Place the control switch in start position. This will cut out the alarm bell and restart the steam generator. Place the control switch in the running position. Also check items action in number 4B. Alright, if the alarm bell rings to start indicating the lights with the burner on light and burn on indicating light, check the items of the action. And 4A, check the feed water pump speed steam valve with the full open check water gauge. Continued. Glass for the steam generator indicating the water steam pressure. Steam separator may be defoaming if it gives good blowdown using manual blowdown valve. Steam generator operated with a closed train line shutoff valve. If the smoke shows that the stack when refiring the stack clears, check the small burner electrodes burn in the ignition quickly as it should. Alright, 6. Steam generator feeding steam train line. With a low demand steam generator with a cycle to V with the normal steam demand, both the small large burners will be on large burner pressure, white hand on fuel oil gauge control with the oil regulating valve in its various steam demand. If the steam generator stops firing, alarm bell will start and indicate the light on and the burning on indication on light out. Check the differential pressure on the water storage tank fed water pump and its piping. Check the feeding water pump steam valve with the full open. Check the action feed water pump may be suction air for the leak. Cover the water in treatment tank. Check the items for the action of 5A. Or if the steam generator shuts down, alarm bell rings, start and burner on, indicating lights on, the motor running at the reduced speed. Check the fuel oil pump pressure when the steam generator off to clean the electrical eye lens, and also check the items under action on 4B. The steam generator shuts off down, alarm bell rings both, indicating lights are on, motor shuts down. Check the blow main fuses. Also check items under action 2A. If the smoke shows the stack with a large burner on, check the action for the air damper and the rigging. Check the blower with the fan wheel belts. Alright, before starting the steam generator, auxiliary generator with the locomotive should be running with the main reserve. There should be at least 60 pounds of the pressure. To check the position of all the valves and the cross handles should be fully open, and with the valves with round handles should be closed, except with an exemption with the water glass valve. Exemption water glass valve with references 2 and 6. Return the handle reference 7 on the fuel line filter of one of the full turn. Close the main switch. Move the handle for the reference 1 to the on position. Starting steam generator. If no water shows in the glass run, feed with the pump with the reverted 10 on the air as follows. Close the pump steam valve reference 23. Open the pump air valve reference 9. Open the steam separator air vent cock reference number 3 while filling. When water reaches the top of the water glass, place the control switch reference 12 in the starting position. Push the start button reference 14. Motor 1. Continue to operate the feed water pump until the water remains in the water glass. Then shut up the pump pump air valve with reference 9 and open the pump steam valve with reference 23. Close the steam separator air vent cock with reference 3. Place the control switch in reference 12 in the running position. Steam generator will fire. As the steam generator comes to the pressure, water will tend to rise as the manual blow down valve with reference 25 of the main water level and glass. To feed the steam train line, the steam generator pressure should be the 275 pounds shown on the pressure gauge reference 16 red handled before proceeding. Your New York Central System instruction for the operating remote control equipment with the Vapor Clarkson DRK 460, 41516 1700 L 1600 pound, OK 4625 2500 pound, and DRK 4530 3000 pound type steam generator operating on the diesel electric locomotives. Alright, the Vapor Clarkson steam generator, section 1 is just general description. Steam generator unit for the DRK and the OKC for the four circulated with the coiled water tube. The type of the oil filled that has the electrical ignition. The heat of the absorption portion. Most of the DRK, the type of the steam type of the generator is considered the compactly wounded coil steel tube and connected with the interior to form the single tube several hundred feet in length of seat set with a firebox in front of the compartment. The OK type and some of the DRK types have, in addition with above 3 coils that energize de-energizing coil located outside of the coil, refactoring the path of the exhaust gases. The economizer coil in the series with the other coils formed as a part of the single tube. Water is then forced out in the outer economizer with the coil in the tube with the feed pump. The oil is supplied with the burner by the fuel pump, while the air in the combustion is delivered with the combustion chamber by the blower. The hot combustion gases pass through the coil layers before flowing into the stack. The water is passed through the coils and heated with the converter in the steam. The steam flows with the coil with the external steam separated from the steam train line with the filling with the coils with the cold water. The steam generated with the full operating pressure in 1 or 2 minutes after the fire is lighted. During the operation, slight excess water was in circulation, but the coil flushes out. The scale forming material with the water and sludge are removed from the steam, and they separate and fall into the sump at the bottom of the vessel. The sludge is blown out periodically through the blowdown valve with excessive water is returned to the water supply tank through a coil type of heat exchanger with the flowing with the coil with the hot water preheat for the feed water with the flows through the casing with the heating exchanger. The capacity and pressure of the rated with the capacity with the 4516 steam type steam generator is 1600 pounds, and the water evaporation per hour is 60 degrees feet. Water steam at 300 psi that are 400, and that over the 4625 type of the 275 pounds. 2,750 pounds. Then that of the 4530 type, 3,000 pounds. Of the 4516 and 4530, these types are capable of delivering 20% above the rated capacity. 4625 type delivers 10% above the rated capacity. Your steam out, train, and line pressure control. The steam output with the generator is automatically controlled in accordance with the demand with the water bypass regulator, which bypasses the varying amount of the water being delivered to the coils. The steam generator pressure of the boiler pressure to drain line pressure, also controlled by the automatic water bypass regulating valve, which may set in any desired between 50 to 155 psi. Length of the train and weather conditions will determine whether settings should be used. The burner, which burns the diesel fuel oil, consists of the fuel spray head equipped with the spray nozzle with the air atomizing type. The air atomizing type of the breaking up the fuel with the fine spray is supplied with the air brake compressor on the locomotive. The sprays are nearly with the spray plugs at issue from the nozzle. Should the air pressure be too low for the proper atomization of the valve within the spray head of the DRK type, the generator will close to prevent the discharge of the fuel oil into the combustion chamber, while with the OK type of the generator, low air pressure will allow the air spring tension to open the air with the switch contacts de-energizing with the fuel solenoid valve, the preventing of the discharge of the fuel oil into the combustion chamber. The amount of fuel delivered into the burner is regulated by the servo fuel control proportion of the quantity of the water entering the steam generator coil to control the air from the combustion. Servo fuel controlling is linked with the damper air into the intake stack. Motor converter, the motor in which the drive the water pump, the fuel pump, and the blower with the combination with the motor converter with the furnishes the alternating current with the transformer from electrical ignition. Main switch. The main switch is starting with the equipment is located on the wall near the steam generator unit. The control switch. The motor will not start unless the control switch is in either type of the fill or run position. On the DRK type of the generators, where the switch is in the fill position, the water will be pumped into the steam. The generator, the fuel cutoff valve with the shut, and the burner will not light. Turn the switch into the run opens with the fuel cutoff valve. With the burn starts at once. On the OK steam generator, will the steam in which the fill position water will be pumped into the steam generator with the fuel solenoid valve. The de-energized with the burner will not. Turn the switch into the running and energized with the fuel solenoid valve. The burner starts at once. Steam generator control panel. The control panel consists of the relays resistors required for the starting and accelerating of the motor, but it also contains a resettable overload switch to protect the motor. The steam separator with excessive water removed from the steam, and this vessel drains at the bottom of the separator as the level raises above the return of the water outlet pipe. The water is forced in, out, and through the return water outlet valve and then through the steam trap. Protect device. To protect the steam generator against possible damage, the number of the safe devices are provided. These own devices will either be shut down the burner or the motor that as they fall. Or your stack switch. The device is operated with a temporary sensitive helical inserted into the side of the stack. There should be steam generating coils becoming the seal with the suited up with external with the heat transfer through the coils and into the feed. Water will be reduced to the stack. The temperature will arrive at the temperature exceed the 900 degrees Fahrenheit. The stack switch will open and shut down the motor. With the shutdown during the operation of the device will be evident by tripping out of these reset buttons. The alarm bell will ring. Also located with the stack switch, the low temperature with the set off the contacts. They are open with the stack is cool with the wheel closed. With the stack temperature reached the approximately of 250 degrees. The low temperature contact does not cause the reset button to trip over out of fire relay. The time of the deleted device is sensitive with the stack switch. The low temperature contacts are open to the temperature below 250 degrees Fahrenheit. The necessary to provide the means of the temporary passing this device in order to start with the motor with the stack. It's cold when the main switch is on. Control switch is on the off or in the fill position. The outer fire relay is closed in the running position with the control switch. The outer fire relay is de-energized. However, the time of the delay feature requires 45 seconds before the relay opens. After the time the stack switch the low temperature contacts have not been closed, the motor will stop and the alarm bell will ring. Note, if necessary, return the control switch to the off position to reset the outer fire relays. Obtain another 45-second time interval. Fuel control also low water cutoff. This control measures the fuel to the burner in proper relation to the water entering the coils. It also adjusts the air damper for the good condition of combustion throughout the entire range of the output. Both functions are accomplished by the adjusting wheel cams. An sufficient amount of water flowing with the steam generator with the turbo fuel control with opening a low water cutoff switch to de-energize the air solenoid valve lacking the atomizer. Air will cause the burner to shut down. The stack temperature will then begin to drop if it falls below 250 degrees. The low temperature stack switch will stop the motor and ring alarm bell. With the stack switch reset, the button do not appear. Steam temperature limit control. The control is consistent of the route of the tube thermostat set with the combustion chamber will operate with the fuel meter around the tube. But the thermostat is also steam output with light with from the coils. Excessive steam temperature above the 410 to 425 degrees Fahrenheit with the absence of the steam causes the tube to expand meter of the fuel, preventing the damage of the coils for the overheating. The control does not cause the motor to shut down and does not require the manual resetting. Over other safety devices, other safeguards provide additional to the use of the mentioned before as follows. The toe safety valves mounted when the steam separated. These valves are usually set to relieve at 295 to 300 pounds of pressure. Two fuel fuses at the control circuit of the two fuses of the ignition circuit located on the control panel. The water relief valve is protected against the excessive water pressure should the coils become clogged with the scales in line with becoming obstructed. It is set to open between 500 and 600 pounds. Remote control. Some of the installations are provided with remote control equipment to allow the blowing down of the steam separator and the shutting off of the steam of the train line from the locomotive cab. Such equipment include the remote control cabinet located on the cab in the front of the fireman's seat with electro-pneumatic cabinet and electro operated with the automatic train line shut off the valve as well with the required air cylinder on the separated blowdown valve. On a multiple steam generator installation, there is one electro-pneumatic cabinet on one train that shuts off the valve, either the generator with one remote control. However, they will control all steam generators. Your electro-pneumatic control cabinet. The electro-pneumatic control cabinet is located near the steam generator. Consists of electrically operated air valve. The valve admits air to the air cylinder on the separator of the blowdown valve to open it when the separator blowdown is pressed on the remote control line panel. Train line shutoff valve. When the train line shutoff valve, the button in the remote control panel is pressed with the train line shutoff valve with electrically tripped to close by the going back to the steam generator to pressing the latching lever on the train line shutoff valve to open it, and steam can be again emitted to the trail line. Alright, Section 2, Direction of Operating. Before starting, check to see if the following valves are open. The water suction line, the stop valve, the cutoff, the shutoff valve, the water inlet valve, the water bypass regulator, the steam generator, stop valve, the return water outlet, the valve, the steam separator, the water return valve, the line, the tank of the atomizing air emission valve, also the petcox and steam line with the water bypass, the regulator, and the steam gauge. The following valves should be closed with the washout solution emission valve, the washout solution return valve, the manual water bypass valve, the coil blowdown valve, the water pump test valve, and all the drain valves in the line between the water tank and the water pump. Type the OK generator's only layer connection, shut-off valve, and steam emission valve, and radiation open in cold weather. See that the reset button on the control panel is in. See that the stack switch on the reset is in. Starting the steam generator. Open the separate blowdown valve with the foot operated with the front for about 1 minute with the drain system separated with the close of the valve. Open the fill test valve with the separator with the close of the main switch. Turn the control switch to the fill position. Motor will then start and then fill the steam generator with water. Assume with the water discharge from the full test of the valve. Turn the control switch to the off position and close the full fill test of the valve and wait until the few seconds until the motor stops. Then turn the control switch to the run burner. It should start at once. To press latching in the train line, shut off the valve, open the valve, and emit the steam through the train line. Open the manual train line valves. Set the water bypass regulator with the required step of the train line pressure with the two or more steam generators that are used with the locomotive and they're running of the required with the weather conditions. The water bypass regulators on all steam generators should be set approximately the same. Open the free foot operated with a separated blowdown valve 2 or 3 times with a 3 to 5 second intervals for the drain separated during the first few minutes of the operation. Note, it may take 5 to 10 minutes to fill the steam generator with water and entirely to empty. Do not start the steam generator unless the coils have been filled with water. It may take several minutes of time to build up the required steam train line pressure. Check the return water flow with the 4530 and 4625 generators indicated should be cycled to 10 to 12 times per minute at a high fire and 3 to 4 times per minute with a low fire generator up to the operating temperature 450 4516. The generator should be cycled at 6 to 8 times the high fire and 2 to 3 times per minute low fire. Alright, checks to be made by the operator. After starting the steam generator, check the atomizing air pressure indicated by the gauge. This pressure should be about 60 to 80 pounds on the DARK 4530 type of the units, the 30 to 35 pounds of the DARK 4516 type units, and about 70 pounds on the AOK 4625 type units. Check fuel oil pressure, manifold pressure, and type of unit. 145 60 160 pounds DARK 416, 145 to 160 pounds DARK 4530, 145 to 160 manifold pressure to the OK 4625. Alright, in the motor, the fire fails to start. The fire fails to start within seconds. Look through the peep of the sight glass with the steam generator to see that they are sparking the spark plug electrodes. Also check the water pressure and the fuel pressure. If the motor fails to start, check to see that the main switch is closed, but the motor overload reset button isn't. If the motor is operating, there is no spark with the plug start on the control switch in the one off position. Check the shaft and broken ignition cable to loosen the broken cable connections. If the motor is operating with the spark plug, the function checking the water pressure with no pressure shows that the gauge on the pressure is too low. Check to see if the water suction stop valve is open. The cool blowdown valve and one of the drain valves may be open. There may be no air pressure with the spray head nozzle, and the air pressure may be too low. Alright, operating steam generator with the remote control. After the steam generators have been started with the steam pressure for each of the generators, start train line pressure for the properly set with the following operation that can be performed from the locomotive cab when the remote control equipment is installed. Turn the master switch of the remote control panel to the on, adjust the rheostat with the right hand side of the remote control panel to give the desired illumination for the steam train line pressure gauge. About every half hour to press the separator blowdown, push down the button, hold it down in or for about 3 to 5 seconds. If the emission of the steam in the train line with the steam off purpose of the cutting of the car out of the train lift to the protecting cap over the train line, shut off the button and press the button and close the train line global valve. After the emission of the steam of the train line has been shut down, the remote control it will be necessary to open the end of the train line shut valve. The valve manually at the steam generator. Depressing the latching of the lever will readily to get the steam back in the train line. Global valve must be opened slowly to fully open the position. Running attention when the remote control equipment is installed. Open the separator blowdown valve half hourly for 3 to 5 seconds for the blowdown separator. To check the various gauges to ensure that yourself generators are running satisfactorily. Shut down the steam generator with the remote control. Depress the train line shut off button with the remote control panel. Turn the master switch with the remote control to the off position. When the train stops, go back to the steam generator. Each steam generator and shut it down with the following minute. Turn the control switch to the off position. Open the coal or blowdown valve. Observe the boiler pressure when it fails. If the 50 pounds, close the valve. Open separator blowdown valve. Blow down the steam separator with the remaining pressure. Then close the valve. Refill the steam generator with the water with the turning of the control switch to the failed position. Open the fill test valve with the separator when the water begins with the discharge of the valve. Close with the turn the close switch off the position. Open the main switch, close the atomizing air with the steam generator is now filled with the ready for the use of the restarting with the unadmit the draining of the separator, opening the fill test valve with the again filling the time of the steam generator with water. This may not have been done with some of the shutting down, but when the coils are already filled with the water, they will only take about 1 minute with this to be indicated the discharge of the water from the fill test valve. Alright, instructions for draining the vapor of the DRK 4516 or the DRK 4530 or the OK 4625 type of steam generator for protecting against the freezing. When possible, to raise steam pressure for the steam generator, the letting of the cycle several times. Set the train line pressure at 100 pounds. Open the remote control manual steam line train valve with the steam valve closed. With the close the steam train line valve after the pressure of the train line reaches 100 pounds and open the both valves. Open the coil blowdown valve until the generator pressure reaches 75 pounds. Close it and open the separator blowdown valve. It must be necessary to proceed with the work outline with the flows valves, whether the above the can be done or not. Open the water supply line with the floor drain valves at A and B until the unit steam generated. The valve will be open and applied to the OK generators. Also, the water return line floor drain valve B and the unit steam generator with a small water tank. Open the water supply with this line valve. Then open the plug drain valve with the large water tank in the B unit. Close the water suction top of the valve. Open wide the drain valve and line bottom of the water treatment tank. This will valve be applied with the OK generators. 5. Open the water water pump test valve valve wide. 6. Open the wide water pump, the test valve in the 3-liter test plug. Remove the drain plug with the bottom of the water plug. Work water out of the pump by turning it over the hand and clockwise. 7. Remove the cover of the water cart and water treatment tank with the lift out of the treatment chamber with the strainer screener and empty with the water with the bolt. 8. Close the top of the valve at the top of the separate. Cool the mission for the valve to be widely open, separated blow-down valve with the close. Close the water return line with the valve ahead of the steam trap at the separator. Separated the open the coil blow-down valve wide connection. The air hose with the water filled with the test valve. The separated with the blow with the water remains with the steam generator coil with the exemption. The economizer coil with the OK and some of the DRK steering range only, and piping out the oil blow-down valve. This then close the fill test. Open the water return line valve at the separator with the air hose connected with the water test fill valve. The blow the air through the strainer, the trap, the coils, and the heat exchanger with air. Then out through the drain line valve, the brake pipe, the connection right water, and the bypass regulator with the connecting air hose. The blow through the fuel control heat exchanger chamber, and the economizer coil OK, and some of the DRK generator only, and piping out of the coil between blow-down valve with the close the blow-down valve. 17. Remove the plug and strainer with the separator. Reapply. Brake 18. Brake connection at the left side with the water bypass regulating valve and with the pump test valve open, blowing air through the piping. 19. Open the separator blow-down valve. 20. Break the water return line with the heat exchanger. 21. Break the water inlet with outlet connection with the servo feeder with the control blow out with the air. 22. Remove the drain plugs on the bottom of the heat exchanger and the steam trap. 23. Break the steam water lines with all steam gauge, water pressure gauge, and the water bypass regulator valve, and blow out with the air. Soak up with the cloth with the water remaining by the top of the steam, actuated with the diaphragm with the water by the bypass regulator. 24. Break the conjunction of the pump bottom of the water bypass regulator valve with the blow of the air. 25. Break the water of the hose connection between the A and B with the units to blow out with the air. 26. Break the steam connections between A and B units, let the drain and reconnect. 27. Open the drain valve and the steam and the cab heaters. 28. After the draining, it has all been completed. All the valves may be left open except the following: A. The steam generator water suction stop valve. B. The steam generator stop valve at the top of the separator. C. The manual steam train line valve shut-off valve. D. The steam train line and valves. E. The water supply fuel drain valve. The A and B. The unit steam generator. And F. Water return line valve for the floor drain with the B unit of the generator. 200-gallon tanks. Or Section 2, troubleshooting with the scope of the operator. The alarm, the warning signal lighting indication. The event of the steam generator should shut down when an alarm bell will ring with the boiler off. The warning signal light will flash on. The warning light will play on the panel within the unit involved. The stopping alarm with the control switch to the off. The steam generator involved with the investigate with the cause of the difficulty remedy with the indicated below. Note that it is understood that the strainers and other parts within the distributor are possibly clogged or to be removed and taken apart when cleaned. Steam generator and shutdown systems causing remedy. Reset button out of the stack switch for the shutdown success with stack temperature about the burning excessive fuel because of the improper adjustment of the fuel pressure regulator. The other cause of the mere remedy for the which it is not the scope of the operator to overcome the difficulty. Proceed as follows: open the separator blow-down valve to the drain, the separator and the reclose the valve, restack the switch button, turn the control switch to the fill position, close the main switch, and refill the steam generator with the water indicated under the starting steam generator on page 5. This will cause the blower to go down and stack. Turn the control switch to the running position, restart burner. To reset the button out on the steam generator control panel, shutdown is due to the motor overload. Proceed as valve to control. Turn the control switch to the out position. Check the cause of the overload. Turning the pump by the hand to see that it is not locked. If the press of the motor overload, reset button to reset the switch. Start the steam generator usual manner. If both the reset buttons are in, but reset main switch breaker to start the steam generator's usual manner. If the motor or the burner will not restart, the circuit breaker may have been tripped. If the lever may be center point position, but more lever the off position, then go in the on position. Reset. Then in those units, using the fuses instead of the circuit breakers may use main fuses. May be blown out. Fuses may be blown out in the circuit of the motor, and it may not. And if not, check the relay contacts. If the motor restarts but the burner does not, and no spark show through the beep sight glass of the burner spray head, check the fuse of the control panel and the converter of the circuit of the ignition transformer. Check the loose of the broken ignition cable connections. See if the motor restarts but the burner does not spark show through the peep sight glass. Check the atomizing air pressure is less than zero. Start page 7. See page 10 for the pressure. Start may be clogged with the air pressure of the reducing valve of the atomizing air pressure. Satisfactory of the air fuel straining with the burning spray head, but may be clogged with the should be cleaned. The spray nozzle may be clogged with the taken out with the spray head and remove the nozzle, clean it, and use the toothpick or the wooden splint to clean the nozzle discharge. Orifice. Do not use a metal pick. If the water pressure does not equal the show of the gauge, with the pressure low, with the shutting down to do the operation servo fuel filter because of the lack of the water brought about the lack of the water in the tanks cool, blow down will allow the oil leak in the water suction line. Water treatment, the strainer tank covered the suction line, tank of the covered loose, the rubber to the either head of the loose, the suction line clogged with the strainer screen with the water temperature, tank in the line strength tank. Inoperative water bypass regulated with the try the closing of the water inlet valve with the water bypass regulated with the burner start down. Once the indication of that, the water bypass regulator inoperative with the set the manually regulated with the streamline with the pressure open and operative with the manual water bypass valve. If the burner does not restart with the closing of the water inlet valve with the water bypass regulator, if the fuel pressure does not show on the manifold of the pressure gauge, but the water pressure appears to be adequate, this is an indication for the porulator oil filter clog with the turn handle with the one filter clockwise several times with the free filter. The fuel pressure of the nozzle pressure gauge with excessive water pressure appears to be adequate. This is an indication for the clog strain of the nozzle of the burner fuel spray with the header. Determining cause of the trouble, the remedy to be ensure that reopen the water inlet valve with the water bypass regulator with the water steam generator. Alright, sharp drops in train line pressure. Burner cycle off and on. This indicates the burner is being shut down with the steam temperature light limit control because of the excessive steam temperature caused by the insufficient water delivery, and it's also an indication that servo fuel control may be adjusted, may be out of adjustment. Do not attempt to adjust the fuel control. This is a job for the qualified maintainer. Notes reporting the difficulty encountered during the service upon arrival to the destination indicate the corrective measures that have been taken, if any. Type the DRK and OK steam generators have control, so arrange shut down the motor and pump when the steam is not required, or burns go out. Alright, this is the water pump, the schematic for the diagram of the 453, 416 vapor Clarkson steam generator. Check out my sway on this. And then this is your electrical diagram. Electrical diagram for the OK46DN type. Then another diagram. This is another wiring diagram for, it doesn't read, but your steam generator. Okay. This is the New York Central Operating Instruction for Diesel Electric Road Motors classes, EMD GP7 class, ERP, S and D, 4G, and road numbers.